The following dysfunctional gaming program was filmed in front of a live Twitch audience.
I waited longer than this time. Got to. Welcome, everybody. Hello, how's it going? We are back with some dysfunctional gaming, talking D&D. We are starting off strong. We had some good smells going on over there. It looks like
I forgot I had the stream up, and it was loud in my ears, and I could hear my echo, and it's so confusing.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
We're good.
Is the levels too high? The levels too high?
Well, I mean, I heard us with a delay, so it was just very not brain processy.
Well, anyways, I'm Thundercat. To my left, or yeah, to the left.
Hi, I'm GM Patch Nasty. Hello.
Hello. Are you having a good day today?
I am. It's the last day of my vacation, so I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're doing something called improvisation today for the DM's week, our Dungeon Master week. We have a little bit of experience as Dungeon Masters, I would say, in the improv realm. We also, I mean, I've taken 2 improv classes in college. So
I'm a salesman. I live improv.
Yeah, I work in the service industry. You kind of have to improv all day. So
what can you tell me about that sandwich? Oh, I love it. It's my favorite sandwich on the menu.
I haven't had a lot, but I know a lot of people order it, so it must be good.
Yeah, I don't say that.
No, why not? I'm not into that kind of thing, but I know everyone else orders it, so it must be fucking good. Why not?
It's a disconnect real quick, but that's just me. I'm like, that disconnects me from the customer, and I want to build that rapport so I can take more of their money the next time they come in.
I think they're going to come in and get it anyways because they're still going to buy it from you because you're a salesman.
Yes.
Either way, moving forward, last week we talked about what?
Stuff. I rolled 2 1s. I'm not good on my history check today. I think we did homebrew.
Yes, I was waiting for you to get it. We homebrewed some pictures that we got in the Discord. We talked about some spells and some other things that we homebrewed as well. If you want to check that out.
Turkeys.
Yeah, hand turkeys. If you want to check that out, go check it out on either YouTube or on podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Anchor.fm. And moving on from there, we released some new Patreon content as well. If you want to check that out, we have our links in the chat. And
give me your money.
You could just search Dysfunctional Gaming. So moving forward, this week we're going to talk about improv as a DM and how it is very pivotal as a DM, very big part of your game. If you want to run a cohesive game for your players, you're going to need to know how to improv.
Part of the course for being a DM.
Yeah, you're going to need you're going to need to know a little bit at least, or be able to roll with some punches. That's still called improv, rolling with some of the punches. So,
just say yes and.
Yeah, yes and is a great way to do it. Just try to think on your toes as fast as you can. If you need a second, say, "Hey, I need a quick break." Take a bathroom break. Give yourself a couple seconds, and then come back and work on that as well. So, what's the first thing you want to talk about from improv?
From a past experience, what I would recommend to every DM is have 2 or 3 index cards with names. Just names. First names, last names, any type of names. And as soon as you use it, cross it off or write where they are. Because your players will remember that small Kevin the gnome who ran the hardware store where they bought that first hammer that they still have from the very first session. They might want to talk to him again. Be prepared to improv. You will take a lot of time writing these very, very intricate scenarios which go off a certain way in your head, but as we are all human beings, not everybody thinks alike, and other people have a different creative process, to put it in a friendlier terms, that some people are also just fucking nuts. Yeah, that's be prepared to improv, be prepared to go off book. Like, if this is your first time DMing, Write what you can, write as much as you can, and be prepared to adapt. If this is several times DMing, you've probably already learned, get your plot points on a piece of paper. That's what we're covering. And whatever you guys want to do in the middle, we'll figure out. That's how I kind of run things now.
Learning how to add descriptors is always a good way to help with improv. It will get the party to think of things outside the box as well. Your players want to go to the inn and
Close your eyes and what do you see?
What do you think it looks like? Say it out loud, and they'll remember this stuff. So next time they come to town, you have that title of the inn that you described last time. They'll say, "Oh, remember that beat up inn that was down on the west side of town where it was all like damp from the docks? Yeah, that's where we want to go. Okay, you remember
the laughing
going?
Donkey.
Exactly, and you have that name written down with damp by the docks, west side of town."
Rigid DMs totally take away from the experience. I understand keeping people on track, but it can take away from the story if they don't bend. Improv is totally important. See? Absolutely.
Yes. That's right, mister. That's right, mister. Thank you for that. That's a great point. Yeah, and you got to kind of, once again, go with the flow. Patch is a great example of a player that keeps you on your toes. I've had to stop games at the end of the night. I got lucky that it was closer to the time we end, and I gave myself some time. And sometimes that's what you need if you want to keep the story going in the right direction. They can throw a wrench into your plans, but you got to ultimately make sure that you can get them on the right track again, without railroading. Obviously, try to make it about them at that point. Make it seem like they did the thing that on purpose, and that's what's gonna happen more often. He released an axe beak in a crowded tavern in a place where they were supposed to keep their heads down, and the people of the city were basically in hiding, and they were just there to drink their sorrows away and stay out of the eye of the watchful guard. And what did he do? The Twartle wizard, flamboyant as he was, decided that no one wanted to drink with him. They all wanted to be left alone, so he would bring forward an animal from the astral or wherever, the ethereal realm, and an axe beak appeared from his bag of tricks.
I had a 1 in 8 chance it wasn't an axe beak, okay?
Yeah, well, and it still was. Either or, I'm pretty sure there was like 5 or 6 large beasts in that.
Yeah, I was going with odds, but you know what?
They were all pretty big beasts either way, so one or the other. I had to stop because I didn't want to ruin the game and the immersion of the seriousness either by just like improving something as fast as I could. So I took my time, and I took the rest of the week to figure out how I wanted to do it. And I just made it real quick, real easy, and then got right back to the point. But that then and sometimes that can be considered improv, okay, well he's improving the whole time. Role playing is basically an improv, and if you're trying to keep the game in your realm of consequence and issue, you need to make sure you work with the party too. I guess that's the best way I can say it. So like, let me give you a situation, and you tell me like how you would go about it as a DM.
Am I the DM? Okay, I'm the DM.
Yeah.
Go on.
So your party just destroyed one of the minions, one of the bigger minions that your big bad sent out. They're probably at like level 7 or 8 at this point, and you have a dungeon set up for them, but they instead go to they want to go to like the Magic City and buy items, and they're not far from the Magic City, but the dungeon's the other way. Improv them like going to the magic shop. How would you like describe them getting to the, like, they haven't been to the Magic City yet, but you haven't really built it either.
I would probably do a couple of travel encounters with some like folksy people just traveling through city to city, maybe like a caravan or something. So I can write down quick little things for the Magic City, like a name, an adjective is usually one of the good things. Like if I know I'm going to a place and I want people to like, I don't have a name for it, I'll ask my players and I'll look at like I've done it to you, and I think it was Beth. I was like, give me an adjective, and I looked at my fiance and I was like, give me a noun. Okay, the tumbling fish. Perfect. Didn't say anything else after that until you guys got to the bar and it was the tumbling fish. I didn't have to come up with a name. But it would take a little bit. They're level 7. Do I know how much money they have?
I mean, yeah, you would obviously, like, you've been giving out gold, like, you
Give me
would
a
know.
ballpark.
Like, let's say that out of the 5, there's 5 in the party, they each have, like, 200 gold.
All right, so they have $1,000 total.
Which is not bad for level 7.
It's really not. So I would describe. It depends on how I'm feeling. Also, as a DM, if I know what the party wants as a singular individual, as opposed to the entire party, because not a lot of people pool their gold. I would describe the place. I would probably embellish the doors, all the things to make it look like it's really fancy, and to kind of also subtly hint that you're going to spend a lot of your money here. Maybe you should have came here after that dungeon I planned for you.
Yeah.
And had a little bit more. I would also then, everyone would kind of have like that fake foppish accent.
Yeah, it's the spell city. It's the magic city. It's
Yep.
We'll call it
People would be beautiful.
Anagora.
Yeah, everyone would be like the most beautiful looking people. They would look flawless, immaculate. And if anybody was like looking at things, I'd be like, oh, sure, give me an investigation check. And then, depending on the role, they would get the insights to these people are just very, very vain. It's a magic city, so they're using their magics to
increase
cover their
looks
flaws.
Or and cover
exactly.
Yeah. That's a cool way to do it. And now say that now what if, because they notice that it's a very like magic city and that people are covering their flaws, there must be some sort of me as a player, I would be like, well, there must be some sort of underlying cause for this, and is it like in the government, or is there like an underground like company that really runs the city? Because only things like that would like that much vain people. There's only like 2 or 3 things that could really cause the city to be that way, and that's either the government or oligarchy or king or
maybe
whatever you
there's
want to call it.
something in that dungeon that I made that is
and that's what I'm saying. And then, well, you could do like maybe even change that dungeon to not be in the east anymore. They went west, have it below the city. Hey, over here.
No,
bud. And
probably not.
See me?
If I already put it on the map, it's staying there. That's my rule. That like if I put it in a city and they don't want to go there, I'll go okay, and they'll just move on.
Nice.
Then you're not going to get it.
Thank you
for
the follow.
Mister.
I'm guessing it's Mr. Biggs with the 3 being a B.
Or Thrigs.
Or is it Mr. Thrigs?
I like Thrigs.
Okay, Mr. Biggs. Okay, good.
It really depends. Like if it's a crucial story item that I've like put the time into and they don't want to go there, it's gonna stay there.
Okay.
If it's a dungeon, it depends on why I made the dungeon.
Right.
Or if it's easily moved. If it's in a fucking mountain, no, it's staying. It's not going to be. If I can move the dungeon into a sewer, theoretically I could do it, but then I would have to change so many more traps, which once I make a trap, I like it and I want to see it used before I tinker with it again. I'm that type of person when it comes to traps and all those type of things.
All right. Now, what do you think is like your greatest improv moment from when you
Trash Can Pete? A couple of great improv moments. I mean, as a player, I like to improv things. Like two is just improv because I don't have a backstory and I just grew up with a fisherman, so it's so much fun. Got to give a little. I'm getting
I
there.
was gonna get him, Mr. Biggs. I was gonna get him to start talking about it, but I wanted you to finish your other.
But two's a lot of improv. Kador, I had the brilliant Kador moment because I was switching DMs with Thundercat for the Sunday game, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll take the deal with the devil." I just kind of went with that, and I was like, "No one else is gonna do it. I'll take it away from him." Now they can't. Um, but Trash Can Pete was a hobo in a hobo camp that was nothing but out of work bards because I thought that was funny. All these artistic people can't get a job, and so they're hobos.
It's like a
Perfect.
circus. It's like a circus, basically. All the tents and
It's a
stuff.
circus
Like
for hobos.
it's a tent city of bards.
Yeah. But we got
That's
there,
great.
and I didn't have a lot of names, so Thundercat and Vandal's characters were just sitting interacting with people, and like I handed a can to somebody, and someone's like, "Don't eat that. Why not? That's Trash Can Pete." What? Why is he called Trash Can? He eats from a trash can. It's Trash Can Pete. And I just talk kind of like this. Trash Can Pete.
And didn't
Just,
Trash Can Pete end up being Pennywise?
Yeah, that was one of those things that I wanted to fuck with you a little bit.
So Pennywise,
Ooh,
Pennywise was my patron, basically. I don't even know. He like cursed me, and I became a clown.
A clown.
I started looking like a real clown, like a bozo clown, not even like Pennywise, like a bozo clown. So it took a while, but I eventually got rid of the whole clown curse, but I had to learn, like I learned to embrace it, and like I ended up like getting like equipment and becoming like a clown, like using the fake cleaver, like the little lapel flower that squirts water. Like I was doing that stuff. I think we're gonna have a storm. The emergency broadcast system's going off in my living room. So, anyways, yeah, that was a good one. Trash Can Pete was good.
Trash Can Pete was one of my favorites. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, like improving anything in space with Zaphod, like on the fly. Like that was fun because I was like, how can I turn D&D into sci-fi? I can tweak some little elements and then just reskin shit. But there were some things I wanted to make. Like I made Hamakavula, like was a lich drider thing that I had. Was another good improv moment. I think that's about it. That's probably one of the ones that stand out in my mind.
Yeah, I remember obviously you're gonna remember this, the restaurant scene with Beth and Tom and Knocker.
Oh yeah, the one where they were arguing about fucking tipping, and I just walked out, and because I was like, I didn't need anything here. I'm out.
That entire, like, I don't even know, 30, 40 minutes was all improv. I made it up on the fly. Like, the restaurant was made up on the fly. I was like, this place is going to be expensive in my head. I'm just going to go with it. They're going to get the best service they've ever had, the best food they've ever had, but it's going to be so expensive. They're going to fight each other over how long, like, who pays what and how much it should be. And then they end up staying there for 45 minutes, and like 15, 20 minutes of it was just them arguing on how much they're going to tip and who's going to tip what. It was amazing. We wasted a whole hour of a session just watching them and listening to a restaurant scene. It was pretty impressive, I thought, for my like improv state. I was just like, I'm going to pretend that they're super important people and they're going to get the best service they've ever gotten. And
Puddles. I totally forgot about fucking Puddles. That goddamn cow.
yeah, that was my name for him.
Yep. I don't even remember the name's cow's name. It's Puddles. There was an
Yeah, it's
hour and a
Puddles.
half session of my fiance getting a cow so she could make pancakes.
Yep, that was a good improv.
Yeah.
And then we got the cow, and my character was like, its name is Puddles. That's it.
And then it turned to lead.
With everything else in town.
Mm-hmm.
Except for us. And then we turned it all back, I think. I don't remember.
Who knows? You're in a snow globe.
I don't remember.
That was probably
we turned it all back in the snow globe. We turned it all back.
that was probably one of my favorite improvs because I was like, I can't just let him walk away from this. I was like, I don't want to let him have the happy ending, and I was sitting there toying with it the whole session. I was like,
I'm staring at you like this.
Yep.
And then I look at everyone else at the table and I go, he's fucking with us. I know it. I know he's not. I know this isn't real. We didn't just win. There's something else going on here. We just don't know what it is yet.
And now you guys are Krampus.
I was so mad. I was like, I know he's fucking with us. I know he is. That little smug face he's giving right now. I'm gonna rip that mustache off.
I didn't even have a mustache at that point. I was just goatee.
I know.
It accentuates the smug.
So, what else? What else can we say about improv?
So, all right. So we've talked about situations. You ever improvised a stat? Have you ever improvised stats on things that you didn't think you'd need, but you have them now?
Most likely, but nothing like sticks out. I know. Like you can make stuff up on the fly. Like if you incorporate like commoners and stuff, like you don't necessarily need to use like the commoner stat block. You can just make up some numbers that are a little bit better than a normal commoner, depending on who they are, or worse, depending on the character, the NPC that you're created. I don't know. I would see like some blacksmiths weren't blacksmiths their whole life. They were also in the army, or like some so they might have a little bit better athletics and strength because they do work all day with their arms, and they're not just a commoner. They know how to swing a hammer around. Like they might have a little bit better athletics because of that. That's an improv stat, I would say. I don't know, maybe if you run into a beast that isn't necessarily in the DM's guide, or in the monster manual, like is there any, like I've had people, is there any like animals in the book that aren't not in the book, like different kinds of animals? There's a bunch that aren't necessarily in the book.
Usually I just reskin them as a cat or an owl. If it's like my Tomo, my red panda, just trying to eat a bird.
Right.
Class builds. I don't think I've ever improvised like a class build. Typically I go by what's on there, like a combat medic for a dude that doesn't want to heal with magic. That'd be more like flavoring.
Like a flavoring and texture for the game, like to just kind of change what it looks like.
You could do that. I mean, flavor is essentially
that's
improvising.
Not necessarily. Yeah, that's what I would say. That's not necessarily improvising, but like homebrew is also a form of improvising. You're making the stuff up on the fly. Not necessarily on the fly, but at that point on the fly when you're building it.
You're taking something. You're making something from nothing.
Right. But yeah, I've improvised like spells a little bit. I've changed effects to suit the character. I've been watching a lot more anime lately, so like I see a lot of like cool effects that I wouldn't necessarily expect to see from like a D&D game, and I'm like, that would be a cool effect to change what a lightning bolt looks like, or the wind, like a gust of wind is not just necessarily a gust of wind. You don't just feel a wind. You actually see like a small tornado gust past you. Like instead of just being like, oh, you feel wind against your face. Like that little small tornado that went by you gave you a gust of wind. Like
sometimes when I've used spells, I've used them in a very creative way, like improvising a way to use a spell. I've seen a druid use speak with animals to interrogate and successfully get information about a place that we were at. And I was like, wait, I didn't even think of that. And I love to use speak with animals. There have been times like situations like I'll have a magic item where I can't put anything down. I'll be like, okay, Let's see how I can use this to my benefit.
I improvised the pretty pony.
I'm a pretty pony.
I'm pretty.
I'm pretty.
They all went to go buy horses, and one of them could speak with animals. So he wanted to go speak with all the animals. The horses were all the horses were basic, like, hey, yes, great, wonderful. But there was a halfling in the group, so they needed to get a little pony for her. And they were all like, well, halflings don't ride horses. And then I improvised saying that there's like a halfling pony brigade that that rides throughout the deserts between Faerun and the Sword Coast, like the Sword Coast and the southern Amn area.
Oh, it hurts.
You ran into those guys too. I'm pretty sure you ran into them once.
We did.
And so she got a pony, and her pony was, instead of the horses all being like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, we're horses. Yep, we run fast if you need us to. He was a pretty pony. I'm a pony. I'm pretty.
I'd like to think a lot of my NPCs' voices, I improvise what they sound like.
Right at the time? Yeah. You have to. You have to. I think of what they look like, and then based on what they look like, that's how they sound in my head. I don't know. It's like weird to me. Like, this is what this guy would look like, and this is how he would sound because of it. But that's not how things work. It's just not how things work. Yeah.
It's like when you watch the Da Vinci Code and you see fucking Tom Hanks in the movie. It's like, I didn't picture you as that guy. Fuck you. Get out of here.
Exactly.
Or there'll be times where I'm like, yep, I have a voice in my head, and we'll just figure out what this guy looks like and then put the silly voice on it. Like, you see this very terrifying looking stalactite with a beak and these long, ropey arms. And it then says, what does it say, Thundercat?
I'm hungry. Come here. I'm hungry.
So,
and it reaches out to grab you.
Yep. That was terrifying. I remember that experience because I played D&D, and I was like, that's a fucking roper. That will murder us. That thing has a 60-foot reach. And then he pulled the dopey voice out, and I was like, okay, this went to a completely new place. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited.
And then you're asking, how can you hear how does a roper talk?
Didn't even ask that. I was
like,
I'm not even gonna question
It doesn't matter. It is. It is talking.
D&D.
Exactly. Magic. Improv. Make it up as you go. I've had like a few instances where I wasn't really sure what we were going to do each night. I know that we were on our way somewhere, and I could build encounters along the way. And I don't necessarily like having a lot of road encounters, but in D&D, there's so much traveling that you need to throw those in there. So I kind of just like throw them in randomly now and make them up on the fly. I'll roll on the tables, and then like sometimes I don't even roll on the tables. I just look through the tables and I go, oh, here's
fun.
Here's not, it's an encounter, but it's not a fight. It's a social encounter. Let's see where that brings us. And eventually some of those things stick, and you guys keep those NPCs, or you follow that path instead and go different ways. So that, I mean, that improv there is always fun. Is kind of the DM guides and Xanathars. They have some good tables in there with some social encounters that you could roll while traveling that you can improv off of those. You can look some up online. There's books. There's a bunch of books that just have encounters on them, and improv based off, like, use some inspiration, but improv off that inspiration. That's basically what I've been doing lately. Is I'll write down, hey, they're going to encounter a gold dragon that is actually polymorphed into a man, and it seems like he's dying. But I don't know where they're going to meet him. They're just going to do it eventually. So I write that down. Is he trying to put a link in?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I can't read it.
So we actually, the mod does not allow it, but if you want, you can go ahead and join the Discord. And there's the Tavern Talk. And please feel free to post any links up in there.
Yeah, throw them in the Tavern Talk, definitely. Make sure you press the button in the rules so you can see
read the
all
rules.
of the. And then read them. Sorry, that was the demon inside me. No. So yeah, like with that, you can kind of keep going off of those things in your books, and that's how I do a lot of inspiration, writing the stuff down. I threw in that gold dragon that was polymorphed into a man. That Baron Deer helped. He helped the man that looked like him. No, 3 times. There was 3 of them. It was the kids, it was the dogs, and then you helped the man himself.
Oh,
and that's when he disappeared in front of you, and he gave you those 3 tokens.
And then I died.
And then he was the reason you were reburned.
Reburned?
Yeah, rebirthed, reborn, born,
reborn day,
resurged.
Resurged. I like that. That's a good one.
So yeah, that was a fun one. I put that in there, and it worked out in your benefit with everything that went down. Other than that, good. So what else? What else did you do that improv? You got anything you want to talk about with improving?
Oh, I think probably one of my favorite moments that I have ever improved that benefited me as a player is I got God status with Zaphod.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pure improv. Like I made it so I had a warlock patron who was Zaphod's little patron, and I came back down as Zaphod, and we had this whole interaction with other gods, and I was like, hey, how have you been? You know, you look different from the last time I saw you. You don't, look the same way. And like I would kept suddenly, and like, come on now, I'm a god. How else do you think I travel around the universe? And Griff went with it, and I was like, yes, I can pull hot dogs out of thin air now. I can get away with murder. But I didn't. I even had all the spells at my disposal, and I was like, I'm going to do ones that just piss me off as a DM. Like the dance spell, that fucking dance spell that they don't even save against until it's their next turn, is the best one to cast on a BBEG.
Is it Odaluke's Irresistible Dance? Is that what it is?
That's the one. Otto's Irresistible Dance.
Yeah, Odaluke.
That was a crowning achievement for me. Half of Griff campaign, that first campaign that you, me, and Vandal played with, improvising all of that.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous.
We put him through the ringer. Through the ringer.
I had to play a Warforged female human shadow dragon god.
Not yet.
But basically, that's what I.
Wait.
But no, wait, hold on.
You were
I had to play a male human Warforged female human shadow dragon god time traveler.
You're welcome.
That's what I played. I want to talk about improv. I had to put all of that into my brain to process it into a person. I was like, what am I gonna be right now? Oh, I could be really mean Jeff. Okay, I'm gonna be mean Jeff. Now I'm gonna be mean Melissa because I'm Jeff, but I'm Melissa. Like, what am I doing?
That was so silly. It was such a silly campaign. I loved it. Loved every second of it, though.
Oh, I could turn into a shadow dragon whenever I want. Guess what, guys? We're gonna fight stuff. Guess who's a shadow dragon now? You're like, what the fuck is going on with Melissa?
I immediately went, well, I don't have to use my spells, so thank God for that. We have a dragon.
When Griff sent me that, I was like, all right. I'm not gonna say no. I get more stats and shit. All right, let's do this.
Hey.
I'm sure, like when you said how else do you travel? How do I travel around the universe? I'm a god, and he's like, go for it. You're like, okay, yes, thank you. Yep.
Let me see let's see how far we can run with it. I even turned myself, like I put myself as a guard.
When we started the campaign, he tells us It's gonna be a real low magic city, like barely any magic in the city at all, and all of us are spellcasters.
Except for Vandal, because he is not a spellcaster. He's a warlock. We went over that. Pack magic, not spellcasting. Two different things.
But he still casts spells that wouldn't work because magic doesn't work there. Magic only works inside the the grounds, and only specific people are allowed to cast that magic. You need an okay from the city to cast it.
That was the worst. I hated that. I was like, oh. Well,
I guess I'm not gonna heal anyone with my healing magic. Damn it.
Nope.
Guess I can't use that magic hand that I have to help clean this room. Nope. Oh, I fell in the mud. I can't use my magic to get rid of all the mud on me.
I gotta do it like a pleb. Boo.
But I mean, that takes a lot of improv too. If you think about it, you're not going to be able to play with those specific things, and half of your character is those specific things.
Mm-hmm.
So how would your character feel? How would you react? We were such dicks, and it made sense because imagine having magic for however long and then just showing up to the city and being like, you can't use it.
Yo, yeah.
You go to school here and you can't use your magic. What?
That was... It was clever.
I liked it. We had fun with it. We fucked up a lot of shit.
That's D&D, though. I'll always have a blast.
Yeah, we fucked up a lot of shit with it. What else? I don't know. I'm thinking of stuff, but it's not really that great of information about improv.
Out.
Well, like, is there any tips that you can just like quick little tips to help you other than writing down names and stuff? Because like, what about if you used up the 5 names you wrote down and they're still asking for other names? Start thinking of random names. Like,
once again, there's always the big table on Xanathar. There's a lot of tables in Xanathar that you can just roll dice for, or just pick a name. That's always a very good flex. Or you could do the lazy DM thing, and everybody in the town, his name is Bill. They all kind of look similar, and they always seem out of breath when you go to the next place. And just start looking at big. Like, think about it. You have this one town, and
you see a man dressed in a leather vest, standing outside the town. He's welcoming you as well. Hi, welcome to Bryn Shander.
Tomsville.
I'm Tom. you
Please
walk
get a
past
refreshing drink from our. Do we read a bunch of fantasy type books to help with random knowledge, to help improv with random info? I'll be real. I'm not a big fantasy type novel guy. I'll read them a couple times. Typically, what I'll do is I'll cater to my players, and I'll watch certain things that I know they watch, and I'll pepper in little things that I know that they'll enjoy. Like talking like Dusty Rhodes, baby, for Griff, or throwing in Heatwave and Captain Cold for Thundercat. Throwing in like a billowy cloak for Vandal because he watched a lot of anime. Throwing in a culinary scene for the lovely fiance I have. Cater to your players. For yourself, draw whatever inspiration you want to draw from. If you watch a lot of wrestling, you could do it.
I listen to audiobooks. I don't read a lot. And I listen to podcasts. Draw on a lot of inspiration from the Brandon Sanderson books. The Mistborn books, the trilogy, and then he has a couple of like in the same cosmos, but later on in time. They're pretty good, and I did my whole first campaign. The second half, the homebrew part, most of it was based off of those books, and that's how they gained a lot of their power. Their friend left them to go in search of the Well of Ascension. He ends up finding it, comes back as the Avatar of Bahamut, and helps them beat Tiamat in the final in the final chapter.
After falling into fucking lava and rolling a natural 20 on the death save. Let's give credit where credit was due. Because that part, I was like, it happened.
You didn't see him evolve either. I had a second step because I was hoping that one of you would go down. And I thought he was going to be the one that went down, and it would have worked out great either way. He would have came back. I think he still would have won. But if he knocked one down, if Tiamat knocked one of you down, it would have been a completely different like ending to the story. But you would have seen him evolve into literally Bahamut. I gave him a whole stat block. I gave him extra like spells and a whole bunch of other shit. So it would have been more of a fight between you guys trying to revive your friends and then him versus Tiamat. It would have been more of like a kaiju battle. But he rolled the 20 on his death save, woke back up, continued fighting, got healed, and it really turned the tides against
Tiamat. A 9th level mass heal. I was like, geez.
It really turned the tides on Tiamat. But I mean, I improv most of that campaign because it was homebrewed. I'd write each week 3 paragraphs of where and what I needed you guys to do. And if you got there, you get there. If you didn't, we'd do it again next week. Like, then I'd have an extra couple paragraphs to work off for next week. It looked like you were about to say something. You looked like you were going to laugh.
No, I have a little bit of a headache.
Oh, okay.
I just looked over my Twitter. Yeah. It's like he's like scratching my head.
All right.
How many fights have you had to improvise a different battle tactic? Now that we're getting on to Tiamat, because I've had to do that in just about every fight that I've ever thrown at my players. Because they'll do something I've never expected. And I'll go, huh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a few little tactics that I improvised with you guys. I trying to have someone sneak up on you instead, like different things, maybe terrain issues, just like when it comes to the fights and battles, I normally have those written down, so I can kind of have a idea of how I want to go about the fight. Try to get some minions to get each of you while the captain or boss or whoever is with those minions can fight from afar if they have to, or if they're like the upfront attacker, maybe have the extra minions protect him a little bit while also keeping some of the other players busy. I don't know, installing a few extra NPCs or minions actually being like, oh well, three go down, and you hear a whistle as 10 more roll over the hill, knowing that there's a battle at hand. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you can always make it a more difficult battle if your party is just destroying your first half. Just bring some more in.
You can also do the same thing too with environmental stuff, like have a crack of thunder on the first round and then a torrential downpour, and then you immediately have difficult terrain because it's muddy.
Yeah. Or the water increases the cleric spell because now he can cast the guiding bolt with the storm or whatever. Like that kind of stuff. I don't know. That's what I do. I have most of my stuff written out when it comes to battles, because battles take so much time that I want to have it as quick and easy on my paper. So I'm not thinking about, okay, well, if I have 6 more people, it's going to be 4 more rounds. It's going to cost them this. Like, I already have it written out. I'm like, this is how my players fight, and then I can put them into the fight, and good luck. Like,
that was the thought process I had for the longest time. And then, do you remember the God of Chaos fight that I put you guys through?
Yes.
The little Hitchhiker's Guide thing with arms. That was its stat block was just math equations that I had to roll for every time you guys did stuff. That's when I went, okay, this is quite possibly the worst thing that I've ever come up with. I had fun with it because its AC was 2d20 plus 3. I never knew if you were going to hit. I never knew if I was going to hit.
Yeah,
Like
I remember that fight.
Yeah.
I was like, why
'cause-
do you keep rolling when like, do I hit with the 21? You're like, hold on. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you rolling? Nope, you missed. I'm like, how do I miss? I just hit with a 19. How did the 21 not hit? Nope,
and then
that's
someone would
good.
be like, did I hit with a 10? Yes, you did.
I feel like you improved a lot of the Froghemoth from
The Feywild?
from
Oh,
Tomb.
yeah. Tomb of
Tomb.
Annihilation. Yeah. Yeah, I did.
And you
Well,
played
I
to
looked
my
at the
you played
flaw.
to my you played to my character too, which was great.
I did. Well, the thing is like he was always like one of the voices. Like he like wanted to be strong. So I was like, all right, I can do a decent macho man voice. So let's just have that inside the little guy's head.
Who also
I
wants
know.
to be strong.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is kind of kismet. Kind of kismet. Yeah, go over there and get that thing for me. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, don't be a weakling. You'll be stronger if you do it. Like, okay, I'll be stronger. Let's go. I want to be stronger.
Put your back into it.
Yeah, that was a good one. I also liked how you played like that was the Harpers? No, not the Harpers, the Enclave in Tomb. The like group of Enclave members. They were cool.
No,
How
yeah,
they all
they were
they
just
all
a
had-
little party.
But they were like sad. Like a few of them were sad because they lost their friends. A couple of them were angsty and pissed because they lost their friends. Like you could like really. I really felt it as my character who was like really into like people's feelings, making sure people felt good and were happy. Like that was how my character was. He was like, I need to make sure everyone's happy. So please don't. Oh, you look sad. And then he'd go over to the people that were mad. He'd say, why are you mad? And then they'd be mad at him for asking why he's mad. He was like, then he'd feel bad. And so then at that point, it was like my mission to go find their friends or do whatever I could to make them feel as like happy as possible. It was really good. Like you did a really good job as a DM portraying their emotions to the party.
Grief.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even grief.
I-
It was the revenge factor, the sad couple that were like the polymorphed people. They got polymorphed in the battle. Like it was like there was just a lot of extra stuff there that made you feel real bad for them, and it was like piling it. I was like, oh man, we need to do this stuff for them. And then Vandal's like, no, we can't do that. We don't have time for it. It's like, but we do have to do it. We have to help everybody. Everybody needs help, and we're going to help them all.
Well, that's the hard part about that, because you get, like, if you guys would have traveled through the jungle more, like, if I didn't bring you on a boat and, like, be like, no, we're not going to deal with the jungle anymore. Let's go right to the tomb. There's so much terrible shit in that fucking jungle. Like, not even, like, encounter-wise. Frost giants in the fucking jungle.
We met them.
Went, okay, I'll bite.
That's
in the book.
I know.
Yeah. I went, okay, why are they there? They're looking for Artist Timber. They're probably pissed off because it's fucking hot and there are dinosaurs and they were on a flying ship and now it crashed. Fuck. Yeah, there was, that book is quite possibly like one of the biggest exercises in improv, because there's a flying rock heart city that has Evandra's Shadow Mantle in it with a closet full of zombies. There's not a number of zombies. Like, you just open the closet and zombies just start pouring out. And I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. Okay. There's Nanny Poo Poo, who can turn you into like the voodoo style zombie. There's an Arakakara who is afraid of heights, and I thought that was the funny. No, it was a were-tiger who was afraid of heights. There's so much little
Like
shit
in
there.
Yeah, the little extra things are so funny. That's the stuff you want to add to your characters when you're trying to improv something or bring someone in. Like you're bringing an NPC in. Just what do they look like and what do they do? What are they like? Like when I did Otto, I had it on a piece of paper. He's really into his fire. And what do a lot of people have when they like fire? They would have a lighter. So he just had his lighter and it was like a Zippo. And I wanted you guys to know that he had it as all the time in his hand. And so what did he do? He'd clink it, click, 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 like he was going to light a fire. He really loved fire. He was a fire sorcerer. What would you expect from a fire sorcerer? Someone loves fire. Click it, put his hand over the fire until it hurt, pull his hand away. Like, he was a badass gnome.
I wouldn't go as far as saying badass, but you know, he was a gnome who set things on fire.
He thought he was a badass. He was a pyro, at least.
Yeah. There you go.
So,
like, didn't he mutter?
He used to. He'd mutter to himself. He'd basically answer the questions that people would ask, like to each other, to himself. So if you were like asking a different party member a question, he'd answer the question too, but like under his breath. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Wait, did you say something? No?
Nope. Otto is half the reason I wanted the observant feat with 2.
Yeah.
But now he's not in the party anymore.
Yeah, he's over with the guy that makes cursed weapons.
Shitty magic man.
Cursed items, cursed magic items. He doesn't know that he makes cursed magic items. He just does.
It's a curse.
It's a malfunction in his spell making.
Ugh.
Once again, another improv thing that I was like, this is good. He's the guy that makes all the cursed products. Let's improv a guy that makes cursed products.
Like knocking on door frames.
Yeah, or
some of those
getting
flaws
stuck to your hands and never coming off.
Once you grab onto something, you don't let it go. It's the best fucking thing ever. But I can't lie. But I don't
because
lie,
of
so
it,
it
you can't lie. Right. Oh, it is what it is. So I know it's kind of a short one today, but I know you said you have a headache, and I don't want to make you have to go too much further. And so why don't we?
No, I'm just hydrating, seeing if it's going.
Oh, okay. I just didn't want to make you have to stick it out if you didn't.
Oh no, it just comes and goes.
So what do you guys think? We'll raid out, go over to Buzzrab.
Yeah, let's raid over to Fuzz. He's playing some Baldur's Gate.
One of our favorite people. He's playing Baldur's Gate. That's our Dungeons and Dragons.
He's doing the idealist noble playthrough, if I remember correctly.
It's a good night, super nice guy. Let's make sure you give him some hype, and thank you everyone for hanging out. Mr. Biggs, thanks for being in here today. Really good questions. We'll hopefully see you guys next week. We're gonna go over to the ending screen.
What do you mean, hopefully?
I meant like them in the chat. We'll see them in the chat.
I was like, what do you mean?
Hopefully we'll see you guys next week in our chat.
Oh. I was like, what do you got fucking planned?
No, I'll be here next week, hopefully. I don't want to. It's not a definite. Anything can happen, but I'm planning on being here. All right, we're gonna go over to the ending screen. Let's fix this so the camera comes up. There he is. Is that good-looking man? Put the D&D logo back there. Okay. And press the raid button. Once again. Oh, we gotta do all of our.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
Well, it's improv night, so I forgot that it wasn't. I haven't looked at any of my outline because there isn't any outline because we're improving it today. So what do we do? What are we doing next week?
Well, here's the thing. What are we doing tomorrow? This is how we always do this. What's happening tomorrow on this channel?
What are we doing next week for D&D?
Next week? Oh, players.
Players week.
Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about.
Anything, did we?
No, we did not.
What do you want to do?
I fucking...
Let me go back to the D&D live screen. Let's talk this out.
Yeah,
Players week. What do you want to do?
Huey Lewis. How can we make Huey Lewis in D&D?
Okay. We're doing a D&D Huey Lewis week.
Yep. I don't think that we should do that, but
how about we talk about making a guild or working in guilds, different guilds.
I've never done that. So yeah, sure, we could do that.
Guilds. ... Cool. Next week on Talking D&D, guilds. That was improv.
Yeah, that's yes.
What are we doing tomorrow? Warzone. No, it's not Warzone Wednesday. We canceled Warzone Wednesday. It is now first person shooter sucks so bad. What a terrible name. When FPS Wednesdays. Frames per second Wednesdays. Shoot 'em and loot 'em Wednesdays. That was a pretty good
Getting
one.
there. That one wasn't bad.
Improv week. Let's go. Shoot 'em and loot 'em. Run and gun Wednesdays.
That's better. I got nothing. I don't play shooters.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
There'll be a name eventually.
Wednesday content. That's what it's called.
You'll see myself and Vandal tomorrow, possibly Disto. We'll be doing some first-person shooter games. And DD's still on vacation, so we won't see him till Saturday.
Yay.
Thursday.
Off day.
Friday. Friday will be games. We're gonna try to play games with followers. So if there's any followers that want to play games with us, you're more than welcome to come join us. Tell us what you want to play, and we'll see if we can play it.
Yeah.
More than join us if we have the game you want to play. We'll try to play the game with you. Follower games. Follower games Friday. Follower Friday. Here we go.
There you go.
Saturday, team night. We play games as a team. DD will be back. We'll be playing with DD, and we'll be playing as a team. I have something that we have to do on Monday as well. That's survival night.
Yeah, Monday.
Monday night survival night. Also, if you look up above us, there's a ticker for Extra Life.
Ding ding.
We are raising money again for Extra Life. It is going to our local children's hospital here in Maine. Extra Life is a fundraiser to get kids the medical attention they need by getting money to the local children's hospitals. We have been doing it for quite a while up here. And so now we have a big goal above, and if that goal is hit, I will shave this thing. Sure, there's going to be a lot of other things that will happen, but this is the main goal that I have right now. If we hit that $2,200, shaving the beard will be gone.
No mas beard.
But there will be other stuff we do. We do have our game day that will be in November, but we have started to push the fundraiser now, and we are going to start streaming for the children's hospitals here, and the hashtag is Kids Can't Wait. We can no longer use that other one that we used to use, because now it is owned, trademarked.
By somebody else who's a dick.
So don't say it. They're still doing things for children, so that's at least okay.
You took away my word.
But yeah, no, it's hashtag Kids Can't Wait, and hashtag, I forget what the other one was.
Hashtag Kids Can't Wait.
Yeah, just do that one.
That one's easy.
So here we go. What about you? You playing tomorrow?
Hi, I'm GM Patch Nasty. Most of you who come here see me for Randy Newman content. I also have a Twitch, twitch.tv GM Patch Nasty. I play retro games and I make silly songs because I can't do platformers. Or I talk about the McTip because I play terrible Sega McDonald's games for you. Or I play baseball and hit dingers because that's what you do when you play baseball. Not fundamentals. You just hit the ball really hard and really fall. But yeah, you should follow me on all the things at GM Patch Nasty, except for Facebook, because that's an IE because I didn't think it through.
because I didn't think it through. I'm Thundercat. You'll find me here. I've been doing a lot of pushing on this dysfunctional gaming. We're trying to really make something out of it. So I've been vacant from my Twitch for 6 months now, and I am real. I will be back. We're going to be doing some co-streams once DD's back from mine and his, so we can have multiple views of the games going on, and that way we can put some more video content together.
Mean when Disto plays, does Disto have to turn on his content so we can watch Disto win while you guys are just watching?
No, you don't have
win?
to. No, you don't have to worry about that, because we're gonna have his view, because we'll be dead and we have to spectate. We'll spectate the person that's still alive. So you have 2 views of Disto winning.
There we go. Perfect.
We'll just put them together next to each other, and it'll be me and DD in the camera. So, yeah, that should be fun. We should be getting there eventually. So, I think that's it. I think that's what we got now.
That is it. Patreon. Don't forget about Patreon.
Yes.
That's always in every goddamn outline, and it wasn't in this one. So don't forget about Patreon and the OnlyFans. You can find us at homedepot.com/fans.
The fans?
I would like a big box one.
Only the fans, though.
Yeah, OnlyFans. I don't want an AC unit. I don't want a window unit. I don't want a stand-up unit. I just want a fucking fan. All right? Anyway. Patreon. You should go follow us on Patreon. And
I did just load a new video today on Patreon. And our friend who we're going to raid here is right now the only person that can see it other than us. So it's a pretty good one. I thought it was pretty funny, and I laughed at it a couple times before I loaded it. So I hope you enjoy it, Fuzzrab. Let's go over to Fuzzrab. I'm pressing the raid button. I'm going back to the ending screen.
Okay. Well, this is a song you might know about a guy from high school. This is a lovely song by Stephen Lynch. It's called D&D. Let me know whenever you're ready for me to be ready. Okay. Hit me with some harmonica. All right, more harmonica. Now bassoon. I've got my 12-sided die, and I'm ready to roll with a wizard and my goblin crew. My friends are coming over to my mom's basement, bringing Funyuns and a Mountain Dew. I got a big broadsword made out of cardboard, and in the stereo is a pumping Zeppelin. Whole lot of love. It's that time of the night we turn on the black light. Let the dungeons and the bragging begin. It's D&D. Never kissed a lady before. Nope, it's D&D. Fighting with the legends of yore. That's a little one.